Hello. FU, that's what insurance companies tell loyal customers through their higher premiums, as Kirsten's shown tonight. But according to Greg, that's not the only thing to watch out for. He bought some
real income protection insurance,
and it was indeed quick and easy to set up. But after that, Greg didn't pay much attention to the direct debits or the paperwork that they sent him, as you don't. But a couple of years later, when Greg started thinking his insurance premiums were a bit steep, he discovered that for 2 years he'd also been paying for the final expenses insurance option. Now that provides extra cover if you die of a heart attack, which Greg almost did because he specifically remembered saying no to that option. Now, the company checked the tape of the phone call where he got the insurance and
they said, yes, we have listened to that audio tape and it is very clear you said you didn't want that final expenses insurance.
But when Greg asked for his money back,
he blamed it on me. He said that I should have checked the paperwork more closely, and because it's been so long, then no, I shouldn't get the money back.
Now, the consumer law guarantees for services actually don't apply to insurance contracts, but you've still got consumer rights. And in insurance, when things get desperate,
if you have a problem, if no one else can help,
that's when you turn to
Shane Tregellis, the Chief Ombudsman, the Financial Ombudsman Service.
And that's exactly what Greg did. The Financial Ombudsman provides an independent dispute resolution service that's free for consumers and has the power to make binding decisions. The service is useful because, as Shane says,
many people do not know much about financial matters.
They even offer you tips for managing your emotions.
We consider it very important.
It was only after Real realised that Greg was going to set
Shane Tregellis, the Chief Ombudsman,
on them and
10 minutes of some pretty forceful negotiations and commentary from me
that Real agreed to give him his money back. So good. Game over.
I then just ripped into him some more in a very polite but firm way.
Well, you can understand his frustration, but Greg's right. It is important to keep that ripping in polite. As Joe Yuchukalo says, you'll get better results if you do. But if you're an insurance customer, watch out. The lazy tax takes many forms, and as a great consumer advocate once said,
anybody in this country doesn't minimise their tax, they want their heads round.
Speaking of Kerry Packer, remember the one thing this bloke said about unclaimed money and getting it back via the Money Smart website? David does.
I went onto that website and what did I find? I had nothing, fortunately. But Kerry Francis Bullmore Packer had a lazy $2,760 unclaimed in a Westpac bank account.
They didn't come much money smarter than Kerry Packer. Thanks, David.
Maybe someone should tell James or what's her name. And if you do, ask them if there's a finder's fee.
Next up, it's Coles again. Their FUTube entry this week comes courtesy of Steve and his partner.
We recently bought this sweet and sour chicken meal from Coles. You might have seen out of desperation.
I wouldn't say that, Steve. Looks nice enough. One of the reasons Steve bought that is the Australian-made logo. But like all good checkout pedants, Steve read the back of the pack, which explains,
made in Australia with Australian chicken. Rice from Thailand, pineapple from China and Indonesia, vegetables from China.
Steve asked Coles what was going on, and they explained that the product is Australian-made because...
but it contains 47.6% local ingredients of water.
Well, there you go. Seems Coles rice uses the Australian-made absorption method. To be clear though, Coles hasn't actually done anything wrong here, in terms of labelling at least, because
Australian-made means the product's been substantially transformed here, and that 50% or more of the cost of making it was incurred here, whatever that means.
But their explanation, well, it didn't leave Steve 100% satisfied.